Good evening, everyone. It is 5 o'clock, and so I will go ahead and get started with our National Financial Education Night tonight, hosted by World System Builder. First and foremost, I just want to introduce myself. My name is Alicia Nguyen. I want to welcome everyone, especially those of you that are invited here as guests and to be invited to listen about our organization and our campaign for the very first time. Our team, World System Builder, is a driving force within our company, World Financial Group, and we are on a national financial literacy campaign. As you all know, our country, we live in one of the wealthiest countries in the world, but would you agree that many people have money problems, especially in what we see happening in the world in the last few weeks, right? So actually, even though tonight is our first National Financial Education Night that is broadcasted all throughout North America. We currently are at 1,783 people and counting. We have over 2,500 people registered for this webinar. So we expect this number to keep growing as the presentation continues. So even though this is the first time that we're hosting Financial Education Night, to be broadcasted all over the country. However, it is not the first time for us to have this campaign. In fact, our team, World System Builder, has been in establishment for over 30 years, and we have over 300 offices all throughout North America. We have licenses in all 50 states, licensed campaigners, as well as all provinces of Canada as well. So we are a very large organization, and we often host these orientations as well as workshops almost on a nightly basis all throughout North America. But of course, within the recent weeks of the new shelter in place to keep everybody safe, we have decided that to, close down our financial centers until it's safe to do so, but our campaign goes on. And we thought no better way to do that than to host a national webinar that many people can still come and understand how money works, right? And so our campaign has been for many years now, but we're just excited that for the first time tonight, and we'll be continuing for the next several weeks as well, every Wednesday at 5 p.m. For this financial education night. And today what you're going to hear is more about our mission and vision. And the great person that is presenting today, her name is Vivian Olero. She has been with our organization for over 16 years now. And her background, actually, she used to be an IT engineer. And she was making very good money at her IT engineering job. But it was because of our financial literacy campaign that she learned how to become her own money manager. And today, she is one of the people in our organization that not only has build a big organization herself, but she's one of the top leaders in World System Builder. That's why we chose her to kick off our financial education night tonight. Also, she has been very successful. A few years ago, our company featured the top earners in our company in Forbes magazine, and she was part of that edition as well. So I'm very excited for all of you to hear from her about who we are, what we do, and why we're so excited to be on this campaign and broadcasting to all of you today. And last but not least, I just want to say that, this information that you can hear tonight can change your life, just like it's changed Vivian. Myself, I've been a part of this campaign for 9.5 years, but my family for 34 years, and my family has become a debt-free family for 27 years because of this financial literacy campaign. And so we're all excited to share with you tonight. This information could change your life, just like Vivian, myself, and many others as part of this organization. So as you can see now, we've climbed up to 2,300 people. That's a very good mix of not only people that are already part of campaign, but for the first timers that are listening as well. So without that, I know you're all in your own spaces right now, but if you can, in your own room, give a big hand to Vivian Olero.
All right, Alicia, can you hear me okay?
Yes, loud and clear.
So you can hear me and you can see me as well, right?
Yes, looking great.
Okay, perfect. Hey, good evening, everyone. Good afternoon in California and good evening in some other parts of US and Canada as well. And Alicia, thank you so much for the wonderful introduction. And I am truly excited for us kicking off our financial education night today. And I know that right now we have about 2,000, is that 2,392? So almost 2,400 already on the call and still counting, right? So maybe by the time, like maybe 5 minutes later, we're going to have about 3,000 people on this call. But I want to first just congratulate every single one of you for being part of this. And I know with the shelter in place happening in California, my own place, I want to contribute to the community. So I decided to stay home. And we're so blessed, we're so fortunate that even though we're staying home, we can actually do our business and we can run our business as usual. And for some other parts of the US and Canada as well, I'm pretty sure a lot of you are staying home. So we want to be able to educate you while you are staying home. And I really want you to appreciate the people who actually invited you to today's webinar, because I know, just like what Alicia said, this is going to be life-changing. And, just because, I was part of this company, I learned so much. And just like what Alicia said, I became my own money manager. Okay. So before I get started and show you what this campaign is all about, let me just give you a brief introduction of myself. Just like what Alicia said, I was an IT engineer. I had a degree in computer engineering. I actually graduated. So I was born and raised in the Philippines. I'm pretty sure right now there's so many immigrants in this call. Okay. So I was one of you. I was in your shoe as well. So back in 1998, my husband and I were very blessed and very fortunate to be petitioned from the Philippines to come to America to work as IT engineers, because we both have IT engineering career. Okay, so we came here over 21 years now, and our goal was what? To become financially free, to have that great American dream, like to change our family's life. That was our intention when we came to this country 21 years ago. And so we climbed the corporate ladder. We work as IT engineers. In fact, I became like a project manager. My husband became like a senior engineer. And we're both making six-figure income, which is great, right? I don't have anything to complain about that. So we were able to feed our family, buy our home, but you would probably wonder, why did I join WFG? Why am I on this campaign right now? Financial literacy campaign, which is totally different from what I was doing before. To tell you honestly, I didn't plan to be here. Right? But you know what? Sometimes things happen. Sometimes things happen in the family and you have to make some adjustments. You have to do something. And it's very unfortunate that I have, like 4 siblings. And my eldest sister was diagnosed of terminal cancer, right? Back in 2003, late 2003. And as a family member, as the only person in my family who actually working in America and making dollars, I wanted to help my sister out. I wanted to make sure that she's going to survive for her 3 children, right? Because she had 3 young children. So, my husband and I sat down, we looked at our finances, and to our surprise, we were making over $200,000 income, like about 16 years ago. But then when we check our finances, what's coming in and what's coming out, we didn't have the extra money. And I'm pretty sure, like if you ask yourself right now, how many of you was in the same shoe as we are before? Right? So I said, what is my solution? I cannot just sell my house. I cannot just sell my car. I cannot just, like borrow money left and right. So what can I do? I thought about looking for a part-time job. And fortunately, one of my friends introduced me here. So I started this business part-time just to make $2,000 extra every month. That was just my intention. And number 2, to learn, because as they were going through the presentation, similar presentation you're going to learn, like you're going to hear about today, as they explained that to me, I was blown away. I was telling myself and my husband, I said, my gosh, how come we're working so hard for the money, but we never learn how to make our money to work hard for us? You know what happened, right? I went to school and I took computer engineering, a lot of mathematics, all the calculus and, like different algebra and stuff like that. But how come I didn't learn about personal finance myself? And I don't know what's going on with my money. I don't know what's going on with my retirement account. So that's why, I made the decision. I'm going to change my life. I wanted to learn about my financial future. I wanted to learn about how to save my money. I wanted to learn about how to plan, right? All these things, how to send my kids to college without having a student loan. And that's why I'm here. But guess what? After 9 months of really doing this, understanding this, I quit my job. And I've been full-time in this company for the last 15 years. And then 11 years ago, in 2009, I also retired my husband from his job as well. So both of us are working on this full time. So I want you to know, like in the next maybe 45 minutes to 50 minutes, I need your attention, right? Your undivided attention. Because like what we said earlier, this information can change your life. And if you will just gonna listen and try to understand, and like later on, you probably have a lot of questions along the way, but keep your questions, just write it down. And then the person who invites you will actually talk to you right after this session so that they can talk to you about, hey, do you have any concern, your questions and stuff like that. So write down everything, okay? So now, we're gonna get started with a short video. And this video, we're going to show you about our National Financial Literacy Campaign, because we totally believe in our company that life is not just about working hard, right? Yes, we work hard, we make money, but why is that, right? Why do we go to work every day? Because we want to be financially free, because we want to enjoy life. We want to pay off our debts, become financially free, travel the world. That's what we want to do. And you're going to see people like me, people like you and me, simple people, that's actually, being part of our campaign and enjoying their life as well. So if we can play that video, please. All right, so now you can see how amazing our organization is. You can see how many of us, like in thousands, are actually traveling all over the world. And let me tell you honestly, I have never ever experienced that until I became part of this campaign. Okay, so let me just share my screen now so that you can see our Facebook community. So I want to show you our Facebook community. So we have this community right now. And actually, we already have 60,000 plus members in our World System Builder, like Facebook community. So, what is this in the Facebook community? It's amazing because, like a lot of times, especially today, you log into CNN, constant negative news, right? So you log into Facebook, everything, you see a lot of negative news going on right now, like all over the world globally. But you know what? When you log into our Facebook community, you're going to see a lot of great news. Could you imagine you wake up in the morning, like all you see is like constant positive news, right? Every single day. So what are you going to see from our Facebook community? You're going to see people that are actually changing their lives, right? So let me share you one example. So this lady right here, I know her personally, okay? She attended our financial literacy workshop. We have this free workshop that I'm going to explain to you later on, but she attended the workshop, and after attending the workshop, take a look at this. She said, I paid off my 5th credit card already. I'm so proud of myself. And I applied what I learned from workshop number 1. Could you imagine? She said that this credit card, she had it for like over 10 years. She couldn't even pay them off. But after she attended our workshop, she paid off all of this, right? So next thing, take a look at this. Somebody who just paid off their student loans. And he said, thanks to our financial literacy campaign, our wonderful business, this will represent the very last student loan that our family will ever have to make. I mean, how many people, honestly, right now have huge student loan? I met a couple, right? They already have 4 children and they have not paid their student loans yet. Even our own President Obama, I read about it, whether it's true or not, but I read about it, that it says that he paid off his student loan 5 years before he became the president of this country, right? Even our own president. Okay, so take a look at this. Because of our campaign, because of our education, this is just in one office in Chicago, like 2 million worth of scholarship offered because of the education they got, how to get like scholarships and grants and stuff like that. So this person right here, Sabrina, got 272,000, 118,000, 300,000, and overall like $2 million just in one office, right? Now, I want you to know as well that our campaign goes a long way. Not only that we're campaigning in the house, at the office, this lady right here, Dr. Dalia Maya, she's part of the Harvard, she's one of the professors at Harvard with 5 different degrees. But when she saw our campaign, she said, oh my gosh, I can even take this to Harvard, right? Because even at Harvard Business School, they don't even do financial literacy as well. So that's why she fell in love with our campaign. And guess what? She actually brought the campaign to Harvard. This was back in 2000 and I believe like 2-3 years ago, 2018, June 30, 2018, National Financial Literacy at Harvard University. Could you imagine, right? And not only Harvard, take a look at this. Some of our folks are also educating Columbia University, one of the Ivy League schools out there. So our campaign is going a long, long way. A lot of people are realizing today that, hey, you know what? I may be going to a good school, but I'm not financially educated. I still don't know what to do with my money after graduating from that school, right? So also we go to church. So these are, as you can see the pictures, one of our folks, Sarah, is actually doing a campaign at the church. And then also, home presentation. We're doing it at your home, you can invite your neighbors, you can invite your friends, your family, and we can do the campaign at your home. We also do it at libraries, different libraries here in the Bay Area. We've done so many library classes as well about our campaign. Okay, so I just want you to see that, so that you can see where are we doing our campaign and how are we doing it. Okay, so now, let's talk about our mission. Our mission is we want to move people from financial insecurity to financial security. But how do we do that? We need to be educated. If we don't even know what we need to do with our finances, how are we going to change our life, right? So I wanted to share with you this book. So this book right here, it's called Saving Your Future. Just by the title alone, the title of this book, I mean, how many of us really want to save our future? I want to save my future. I want to become financially free. And how many of us want to become financially free, right? As you can see, this book right now, I'm going to show this on the Elmo, has 1.5 million in print already, right? So this has 1.5 million of copies already printed. And this book right now, it comes in 4 different languages. We have it in English language. We have it in Spanish. I believe it's what? Nescotrando Neso Futuro. I don't know if I say it right. We have it in Vietnamese version. I don't know what to say it in Vietnamese, but all I know is Chok Mang Nam Moi, that's all I know. And we also have it in Chinese version, which I don't know how to say it in Chinese, but the only Chinese statement I know is Niyo Rem Shou Bao Shan Ma. So, I mean, we have, whatever language you're talking about right now. Of course, we don't have all the languages right now, but 4 different language in this book, right? So if you want a copy of that book in your own language, so you would understand it better, ask the person who invited you today so they can provide you a copy of this book, okay? So let me just go through some important pages of this book. I mean, we won't be able to have like the time to go through the entire book like in 1 hour, but let me show you some important information here, right? Let's take a look at this. The US picture, okay? Of course, we have the Canada picture as well. Since we both have Canada and US on the line, we have 3,069 people right now. So what is, according to the surveys conducted by the Federal Reserve, okay? So in Canada, 31% of Canadians don't make enough money to cover their monthly expenses. Could you imagine? 1 of 3 Canadians, right? More than half say they are within 200 away from not being able to pay their bills. Look at what's going on today with the coronavirus. Companies are shutting down. Restaurants are shutting down. I even read an article, a restaurant owner in New York, she said, after 1 week, that we had to close our restaurant, our bank accounts are zeroed out. Could you imagine? They used to have a good life. They used to make a lot of money running the business, but in 1 week, they zeroed out their bank accounts, okay? 47% of Canadians aged 55 to 64 have no employer pension. And the median value of their retirement savings is only $3,000. How sad is that, right? I mean, how many people do we know who's actually suffering like these people? What about the US picture? 40% of Americans struggle to pay their bills on time. 40%, right? 4 out of 10 Americans. The average American household carries $16,000 in credit card debt. How do we pay that off? 44% say they could not cover for unexpected expenses of $400. You know what, today, I mean, just looking at the news and everything, how many people today cannot really pay their bills, cannot pay their mortgage, cannot pay their grocery, cannot pay their car because of just the virus, right? This virus, I mean, it's not even affecting a majority of the population, but we have to stop spreading the virus, so they have to do something about it, right? So it's ironic that we live in one of the wealthiest countries in the world, but how come a lot of people have money problems? We can work hard all our lives but retire poor. I mean, how many of us really? If I may ask you this question, how many of us want to work 40 years of our life and retire broke? Right? And of course, I don't see all of your attendees here because there's 3,000 people, but just answer to yourself. How many of us want to work 40 years of our life and retire broke? We can work hard all our lives and retire poor. We do so much to raise our kids just to see them finish college with a lot of debts. How many students get out of college with a lot of debts? Even my own son, I mean, he started a private university and he said, Mom, I feel so bad for my classmate. I said, why? First year in college, he owes $60,000, right? First year. And then that becomes a way of life. We don't have much and we don't know much, and nobody teaches us how to manage money in school. Did you know that out of 50 states in the whole United States, I don't know the statistics in Canada, but 50 states, there's only five states that require financial education in high school. But guess how many states require sex education? Over 37 states, right? Require sex education, but only 5 states require financial education. So financial issues are not often discussed. Financial products not always explained. Most people have trouble balancing their own checkbook and reading a financial statement. How many of us receive a financial statement? We don't even open it. Because why? Because we don't even understand it, right? We just open the envelope, we don't understand, we file it, and then later on we just check it out, right? We use credit cards every day and don't always understand all the hidden charges. We buy insurance policies and stick them in a filing cabinet. How many people buy an insurance policy and put it in a filing cabinet? And did you know one day, and who knows how and when, we're going to go, right? We're going to go inside the box. We're going to switch places with that life insurance policy. But here's the big question of the day. Would that piece of paper take care of our family? Would that pay our bills? Would that send our kids to school? Would that pay the mortgage? And if the answer is no, what should we do about it? Right? We contribute to our 401k or our SP in Canada and hope somebody will take care of it. I was one of them. I mean, I keep contributing to my 401k. I don't know how to allocate it. I have to ask my coworker who's retiring at that time, and I have to copy what he's doing, but I didn't know what I was doing. We all want to have a comfortable retirement, but few have a plan. We may be active spenders, but passive savers. And I think that is what's going on with a lot of people today. That's why we need to change. But the task, we understand that it's not easy, but we need understanding first. This is the reason why we're doing our campaign for financial literacy. This is the reason why we want to reach out to all, like 3,000 of you on the call today. Why? Because we know that everybody needs financial education, especially today. How many of you feel that if a lot of people were educated, they were able to save money for emergency, that today they won't be scared? Today, when the market drops, they won't be scared, right? Because they're educated. So remember, there's nobody more interested in our financial future than we are. Definitely not the government or employer. How many of us think the government will take care of us? How many of us think our employer will take care of us? Right? And how many of us think our children will take care of us when we retire? So the reality is we have to take care of ourselves. It's our responsibility to learn the simple rules of how money works. Understanding how money works is part of taking care of our family. We can do it and we can control our future. This is the reason why you're here, right? Because we want to provide financial education so we can take charge of our future. Now, take a look at this three-legged stool. Used to be that the retirement plan is based on this, right? This is what they're depending on. This was the three pillars of retirement: company pension, Social Security, and personal savings. What do you think happened to company pension? Right? How many companies out there still offer company pension? What about Social Security? And in the United States, if you take a look at this, in 1940s, for every retiree, there were 40 Americans contributing to Social Security. 40, right? And today, what's the statistics? 3 per retiree. Only 3. Could you imagine 3 workers working for 1 retiree, right? So what's going to happen later on? So that's why what we do here is what? We actually help people build a solid financial foundation. Now, when we build a financial foundation, when we build our house, it's like building a real house. I mean, take a look at your house today, wherever you live today, and most of the people are home. When was that house built? Maybe 20, 30, 40, 50 years ago, right? Why is it still standing there? Because the foundation was very strong. Do you agree with me, right? Do you agree that the foundation was strong? It has to be strong so that our house will be there for a long, 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 long time, right? Same thing with our financial house. Now, how do we build the financial foundation for our house, okay? So just like the house, you build it from the ground up, build it right, and build it strong. Where do we start? We start with protection, okay? Now, why is protection needed? You should have proper protection in the event of disability, health problems, or premature death. How many of us think that we can escape from death? And today, I think, like if we're going to learn from the coronavirus and what it has done for us, and the analogy, and like analyzing what's going on, I think one thing that we have to understand is nobody can escape from the virus. Even this morning, I heard Prince Charles has the virus too, right? So anybody can get the virus, right? So what if we die prematurely? And you know what? The only time I understood the concept of life insurance was when my sister got sick. My sister was 36 and a half years old when she was diagnosed of breast cancer stage 4. And she has 3 kids. She has an 8-year-old, a 13-year-old, and a 1.5-year-old baby. That's why I fought hard. That's why I wanted to help her out. I want her to survive because her family needs her. And her husband was not working. Right? What do you think will happen to her, right? And her kids if my sister passed away? And that's the only time I panicked myself. I said, oh my gosh, I have this big home. I have my 2 children. I have my husband. But if something happens to me, are they going to be okay? I love my children, right? No doubt about it. But if I live them, am I going to be leaving them enough money so that they can continuously live and not struggle financially? Right? And I only understood that when it happens to my sister. And you know what? We fought really hard for my sister. 18 months of cancer struggle. And she passed away after 18 months. And leaving the 3 kids with no income, and the husband no income. Right? So not only premature death, what about disability? What if we become disabled? Even today, I probably don't need to set examples, but today you hear so many people, they're healthy, they're biking, whatever, right? And the virus hit them, and all of a sudden they couldn't walk. They're like crawling. What if we cannot walk? What if we cannot stand up? What if we cannot go to work, right? Who's going to take care of us? I mean, let's ask ourselves the question, do we even want to be a bother to our, like a burden to our family? Do I want my children later on when they're starting a family, like they're having their own children, and I will call them and I say, son, can you come home? Can you leave your family for now and take care of me 24/7 because I need your help? I mean, do we really want to do that to our family? Are we prepared? How many of us are prepared in case we become disabled, in case we get sick, in case of premature death? What is the other thing? Debt management. Do we know how to manage our debt? Do we know how to pay off our debt faster? right? So we need to understand this thing. And this proper protection and debt management, I'm going to explain to you because we have a workshop for you to understand this thing, right? What about emergency fund? We kept educating people. Since the time I started in this company, we kept talking to people about having 3 to 6 months of emergency income, like of their income, right? Set aside only for emergency. Imagine if this crisis happened today and people have 3 to 6 months of emergency, they're going to be okay. They're going to feel secured, right? They're going to feel secured because they're going to be okay. Even the restaurant owners, what if I don't have an income for 3 months? What if I don't have an income for 6 months? Can I still survive? Okay. Now, what about investment? Don't you think we need to understand how to invest our money? How many people are emotional, especially during the last 2 weeks? The market went down, right? And a lot of people like, oh, let me pull out my investment. A lot of people don't understand, about the market, so they become emotional, and that's when a lot of people lose a lot of money. And also, how do we become financially free if we don't even invest our money? If we don't learn how to invest our money, okay? So that's why, like we teach people about building a solid financial foundation. Now, how do you build wealth? So part of building a financial foundation is building wealth. Did you know that there's a formula to actually build wealth? Right? There's a formula. It says here, money doesn't grow on trees, which is true. You must work for it. If you want to build wealth, there's a formula for you to build it on. What is the formula? Money plus time plus or minus rate of return minus inflation minus tax. That's our wealth. So the more positive, the more wealth we can build. The more negative, the less wealth we can build. So what do we do, right? So if we don't understand this thing, we only understand about the money, we might be hurting financially and we don't even know about it, okay? So when you take a look at this formula, what's the very first thing? It's money, right? So money. But when we talk to people about money, guess what they say? What money? I don't have money. I don't have extra money. Right? And that's, like probably one of the things I said too. I mean, I'm guilty of that. When somebody's talked to me about investing, insurance, oh, I don't have money. Okay, don't talk to me. Right? So a lot of people always seem to have money problems. Most of the time, they're short on funds. Instead of saving whatever is left at the end of the month, you should pay yourself first. My gosh, when I learned about this pay yourself first, I started thinking, I said, oh my goodness, Vivian, when you receive your paycheck, who do you pay first? Everybody on the call right now, when you receive your paycheck, who do you pay first? Right? You pay your what? Your home, your car, your utilities, all the basic bills, right? But let me ask you a question. When you have extra money, who do you pay next? Could be shopping mall, could be boba, could be Starbucks, right? And have we ever realized that? And man, when I understood this, I talked to my husband as well, and we said, how many hours did we work for that money for? How many hours, like sweat, tears, beating the traffic, the pressure, the stress, the politics. We go to work to make the money, and at the end of the day, we make the money. And what did we do with the money? We gave it away, right? We gave it away to everyone, and we forgot about ourselves. So what is going on, right? So we need to learn how to pay ourselves first. Set aside 5 to 10% of your income to save for your future. If possible, save 15% or more. Treat it like a bill. So imagine if we can pay ourselves, doesn't matter how much we make. What if you make $1,000? Can you save 100? What if you make $100? Can you save $10? Right? Every time we make money, can we take 10 or 15% of what we're making and set it aside for our future? Okay. Next thing, buy only what we need. Spending is, money is a way of life for many people. Shopping can become a habit. It can become an addiction, right? This is true. How many of us are guilty of that? Okay. So in fact, like my husband and I, we thought, hey, we're making good income. Let's buy the house. Let's move to a bigger house. Let's buy this car. Let's, switch to a nicer car. And we didn't realize, oh my gosh, $2,200 is just going to car payments alone. This was 16 years ago when I joined. Because we were driving 2 luxury cars, right? Because why? You feel good, like you're driving the freeway. People look at you and, doing the thumbs up and wow, you have a nice car. It feels really good. But we didn't realize that we're spending all our money on those things. But guess what we did, right? At that moment, I said, this is not the right time for me to drive these cars. We sold the luxury car. Guess what we did? we bought what we call our Honda Accord, right? You know, paying $500 instead of 1,200. And then we kept the car that's already paid off. We sold the 2 luxury cars. We saved $1,700 right away, right? And it's amazing. It was life-changing. Now, let's take a look at this. Small changes can mean big impact, right? Spending is a habit, so is saving. What if you could make a small changes in your spending habit and actually start saving $10 a day? I mean, how many of us really can save $10 a day? If you ask yourself, if you really want to have a great life, if you want to have a great future, can you sacrifice a little bit today so that we can have a, you know, better future later on, right? You know, so what if you can save $10 a day? $10 a day is $300 a month. At 8% in 30 years is almost $500,000. Could you imagine? Almost $500,000. Now, what if you can pay yourself $20 a day? $20 a day, $600 a month. At 8% in 30 years is almost $1 million, right? This is going to be a sizable amount for our retirement. So can you cut down on some personal luxuries now to reap greater benefits in the future? What can we cut down on? Soda. Latte, right? How much is Starbucks every day? Could be $5 if you do twice. It could be $10. Bottled water, cigarettes, cable TV, high-end gadgets, new phone, shopping, fancy cars, eating out, partying. So we can cut down a little bit and start saving $10 a day. Would that be amazing? Right? You know, so time, of course, is money. That's really important because a lot of people, when they're young, like me, you know, before, like, why would I have to save money? I have 40 years, you know, till retirement. So I didn't save yet, you know, but guess what? Later on, you have children, you have your house, children go to college, and then, oh, you know what? I'll save later. And then later, we're about to retire. Okay. You know, so now what about the rate of return? We talked about this on the wealth formula earlier. What is the rate of return? How many of you have heard of the term called, or the rule called rule of 72 by Einstein? Okay. So how do you use this formula? So for me, if I save my money in the bank, how much is the interest rate in the bank today? Right? Maybe less than 1%. So if I make 1%, for example, and I have $100, after 1 year, I have 101. 1 year after again, I have 102 in some sense, right? 103. When would my $100 double? So this rule of 72 help you understand how can your money double, right? So this is one of the most important concepts in finance, and how come we never learn about it? Imagine, it's one of the most important concepts, but we never learn in school, okay? So how does the formula work? Take 72 and divide it by the rate of return. The answer is the years to double your money. So for example, 72 divided by 6%. If you're making 6%, your money double every 12 years, right? So if you have $10,000 today, after 12 years, you have $20,112. Another 12 years, you have $40,000, which is not bad. But if you make 8%, it doubles every 9 years. Your $10,000 become 19,000, almost 20,000, almost 40,000, almost 80,000. Look at the difference, right? Double. And if you have 10%, you're making 10%, 72 divided by 10 is 7.2. So now your money doubles every 7.2 years. So your 10,000 after 7 years, almost 20,000, 40,000, 80,000, almost 160,000. Now look at the big difference, right? So if you would choose, where would you put your money? Would you put it where, you know, like would you put it where you're making more interest or less interest? But where do most people put their money today? They actually put it in less than 1%, right? And when would you borrow money, where would you put it? Would you put it on the 6% or would you put it on the 24%? Where do most people put borrowing money today? Imagine if you borrow money at 24%, 72%, 72 divided by 24, every 3 years, your debt doubles. Okay, you know, so those are amazing, you know, like concepts that we all need to understand. Another thing is inflation. Inflation is a silent killer, right? We don't even know. Our money goes down in value every single year. It says here, inflation is the rise in prices of goods and services over time. When prices increase, your purchasing power decreases. So it's about 3.5. So my $100 today, next year is worth $96.50. Right? I didn't even know. I put it under the mattress. I still lose money. Okay. So we need to understand about inflation. What about taxes? How many of us that this is our favorite time, April 15th? How many of you are happy that the government is extending filing for the taxes? right? But of course, if you're going to get a refund, you're not probably happy. But if if you're going to pay, you're probably happy that it's being extended. Okay. So, but why is taxes important? Did you know that 30, 40, 50% of what we're making goes to the taxes? So it's really important to understand it as well, right? Benjamin Franklin said, nothing is certain in this world except for death and taxes. You make money, they tax you. You spend money, you save money, you die, they still tax you. What is the good news today? I mean, how many of us feel that we're paying a lot of taxes? Ask yourself a question. How many of you feel that you're paying too much taxes? Okay. Now, the good news, you want to hear the good news? The good news is the highest current U.S. federal income tax is rather low compared with the past. Do you believe that? Right? The taxes today are lower than before. Okay? Take a look at the history of taxes here. Today in the U.S., 2017 and later 2020 today, the maximum federal tax is 37%, right? But what was it in 1981? It was actually 70%. Could you imagine if you're paying 70% on taxes, how much is left? And this is only federal, not counting state tax, okay? So now, if we know, the history of taxes, what do you feel about taxes today? Do you think it's going to go higher or lower in the future? Right? I don't know. I cannot predict the future, but there's certain things that I know right now because of this education. Number one, there's actually a shrinking, Social Security tax base that we talked about already. And the United States has mounting debts. America, as of 2018, has $20 trillion, in debt. And guess what? If the government will give us this stimulus program, where would they get that $2 trillion again? Does it mean that the debts is going to go up? In fact, it was only 13 trillion 7 years ago. So what do you think is the direction of taxes? Will it go higher or lower, right? Who will pay off these debts? Who will pay for this? It says here that the government will have to choose between cutting down the budget or raising taxes. Many people believe taxes may go up in the future. What do you think? So now, if taxes might go up in the future, where would I save my money? Right? Do you think it's important now to understand where should I put my money? If tax is going to go up in the future, am I going to be taxed? Am I not going to be taxed? Do you think it's important to understand that? In the United States, take a look at this. Where does your money go? There's 3 different buckets where you can put your money. Number 1 is tax now. That's checking, savings, CD stocks, mutual fund. Every time you make money, you pay tax. What about tax later? It's called later because today, it's like you're borrowing money from Uncle Sam. You say, hey, Uncle Sam, I work really hard. Can you just charge me taxes later on? Don't get my tax now. I'll just pay you later. And Uncle Sam said, sure. You can wait until you're 59 and a half until you pay tax, right? But then, why don't you ask Uncle Sam now? Hey, Uncle Sam, when I pay you taxes later on, right? Because you're borrowing taxes. It's kind of borrowing taxes right now. When I pay you later, how much tax are you going to charge me? What is the answer? Well, I don't know. Our favorite uncle said, I don't know. Whatever is the tax in the future. So what is this? 401k, 403b, IRA, SEP IRA, annuity, pension plan. Those are tax later, right? We're not paying now, but we're going to pay later. What about tax advantage? Tax advantage is you save your money now, let it grow. You're not paying taxes yet, but when you take out the money in the future, you can, as long as you follow the rules, you can get your money tax free, right? What are those? Roth IRA, 529 savings plan, municipal bonds, health savings account, life insurance, long-term care benefit. So if you have a choice, where would you put your money? When I didn't understand about financial education, I just put my money on tax now and tax later because I don't know about the tax advantage. Don't you think it's really important for us to get educated? Because when do we plan for the future? Today? Or do we plan when we retire? Remember that life is one way, right? There's no U-turn. It's not like a game where you press the reset button and say, you know what, I lose the game, let me start again. Let me play the game again. And then later on you get good at it. It's only one one way, right? It's only one pass. That is our life. We cannot change everything later on. We got to do it now. We got to plan ahead of time. Okay. So those are the basic concepts that I want to share with you. But of course, in this book, it has life insurance, it has all the investment, it has annuities, it has, like mutual fund and stocks and everything, estate planning, so there's so many things in this book that you can actually learn. Okay. So now we just showed you the financial education. I'm pretty sure maybe some of us, when we heard about, some statistics, we got depressed. But what kind of solution do we provide? As I mentioned to you, we actually provide financial education, right? So our company, especially World System Builder, our team came up with a national campaign for financial literacy, and we're actually doing this financial education program. How many of you would like to come to our workshop for free? Get educated. What kind of workshop do we provide for you, right? So this is my own book. As you can see, I have, like all the answers here. But these are the workshops. In fact, we have a workshop going on right now, simultaneous with this one, with workshop number 1. How do we increase your cash flow and debt management, right? How many of you wants to increase your money? How many of you wants to find money? In this class, it's so fun. What we do in this class, we teach people how to find money. And when the students, I'm one of the instructors too, when the students walk out of that class, they said, oh my gosh, I just found $500. I found $800, not once, every month, right? So that is amazing. So, like you can also learn how to pay off your debt faster. We'll teach you some strategy on how to pay off your debt faster. Workshop number 2, how to build a strong financial foundation and proper protection. How do you build that foundation that I just talked to you about earlier, right? What about building wealth? How do you build your wealth? What about the wealth formula, right? So how do you accumulate your assets? So this is really important, how you save on taxes, and then retirement planning. What is IRA? What is Roth IRA? What is annuity? Where do I put my money? So retirement planning, and how do you preserve your estate? Will, living trust, power of attorney, medical directives. What are those things? These are important aspects of our life. But a lot of people don't understand. That's why when I heard about this workshop, oh my gosh, it was like an answered prayer for all of us, because I really want to learn about this. I want to become my own manager. I want to take care of my future. But if I don't understand, how do I do that? So when you attend our workshop, you're going to get a workbook, right? And in our workbook, so per class, there's fill in the blanks, so what are you going to learn? You learn, what people do. Some of them spend first and some of them save first. You will learn where your money is going. This is the fun part of the workshop, where you can find your money, some extra money, so you'll find about getting out of debt, how to get out of debt, so you're going to also find out about, like, workshop number 2, different kinds of life insurance, what is an insurance that's good for you. So many things you're going to learn from this book right here. Okay. Now, there's so much information, right? So let me just summarize for you what we just talked about so far, okay? I talked to you about doing a financial literacy campaign, and that's what we do right now. So let me just share with you what is our campaign all about, okay? I'll share my screen again. Okay, sorry. Let me just share first. Oh, here, sorry. Share. Okay, hold on. Let me just, I lost it. Okay, there you go. Okay, so let me share with you what our campaign is all about, okay? So like what we said, we're on a national campaign for financial literacy. We have a goal, as you can see my banner right here, we have a goal of educating 1 million families by 2020. How many of you, this is end of 2020, okay? So how many of you wants to be part of that first 1 million families? Who's gonna pay off their debt, start saving their money, pay off their car, right? Working on their financial future. So we want you to be part of this, okay? Let's take a look at this. We talked about this earlier. Why are we doing our campaign? Because of these 3 crises that's going on right now. The retirement crisis, the education crisis, right? Spending crisis, it's a big deal. Now, what is going on with the people today? If I may ask you a question, Everybody here on this call, what is your situation right now? Do you have problems paying your bills? When we all have a job and everything's going smooth, we can probably pay our bills. What if the company today shut down? The restaurant closed down, right? Can you still pay your bills? Are you concerned about your job or your career? Are you paid what you are worth? Or do you always wanted to make more money, right? Are your children growing up faster and your parents growing old faster than you can provide for them? How many of us feel that the financial trap is actually affecting our family? Okay. So this is the big problem. We just talked about this. Lack of financial knowledge. People don't have much and don't know much, right? That is the big problem. And that's why our company, we believe in financial education. We believe that the future is in our hands. So we all believe that we need to be educated so we can become our own money manager. Because when we become our own manager, guess what? We can, probably understand the money better. Knowing less can cost us more. We know that, right? We make a lot of mistakes in the past and it costs us a lot of money. We have to understand how money works and make the money to work hard for us, okay? And you know what? How come so many people spend many years in school learning how to make a living, but we also need to invest our time so that we can understand this thing and save a fortune. You know what? Today I'm so happy because all of you have the opportunity, have the chance to actually be part of our campaign, right? All of you become, I'm so excited because you're all here, because we're all staying home. But guess what? When people are all busy with soccer practice of their children, swimming practice, and it's so hard for us to invite people to listen to our campaign. But don't you think right now that it's so valuable, like the information? I mean, how many of you have learned so much so far, right? Just spending, like the last 30 or 40 minutes with us. So that's why we got to invest our time. We spend so many years in school, elementary, high school, college, to make a living, right? Let's start investing our time so that we can save a fortune, okay? So what do we do? What do we do in this company? Let me share with you what we do. Number one, we help you understand how money works. Some people work for the money, but they don't understand how money can work for them. Number two, we will sit down with you. We can sit down with you of no obligation, free financial needs analysis, and we can sit down with you and help you set up your goal, your plan. See, a lot of people don't plan to fail, right? The problem is they failed to plan. And I totally believe we're good planners. We plan for birthdays, we plan for anniversary, we plan for wedding, like for a year. But how many of us, when was the last time we sat down with our spouse, with our partner, and actually plan our future? When was the last time we did that, right? So I think it's about time for us to do that. Cut down our expenses. It's not how much we earn that counts, but it's what we keep, okay? Reduce your debt and liability because the interest on debt might limit the ability for future saving. Don't you think so? If we keep paying like 10% here, 20% there, instead of that amount of interest going to our future, it actually goes to the creditors, okay? We need to increase our cash flow. How many of us, wants to increase our cash flow? I want to increase my cash flow. Just like what I said, when I joined this business, I want to make $2,000 so I can send it to my sister for her chemotherapy in the Philippines. That was my intention, right? But how many of us today, if you can make an extra $1,000, $2,000, $5,000, let me ask you, would that help your family? Right? And if somebody will teach you how to do it, especially at this time of crisis, would you be willing to sit down and learn? Would you be willing to learn and sacrifice a little bit so that we can change our future? What can you do with that extra 1,000? We can pay off our debts, right? We can start saving for our future. Don't you think it's great to have multiple sources of income? So plan B, a spare tire. You won't drive your car without any spare tire, would you? So that's why it is really important for us to increase our cash flow. We can help you with that. What about embrace the change and expect to succeed? One thing I learned in this business is a quote from Bill Gates, not Bill Gates, but Albert Einstein, okay? So he said that the definition of insanity is doing the same thing over and over again, but expecting a different result. How many of us, what was our goal 10 years ago? Maybe retire 10 years later? Why didn't it happen? Right? And then we say, let me do it again. That's my goal again. But we're not changing anything. We keep doing the same thing over and over again. So how do we expect a different result, right? So we got to embrace the change. When I started this business, I don't have any background. I don't have any knowledge. But you know what? One thing that I I have my dream. I have my goal. And I told them, if you can, like teach me, I'm willing to learn. I am so willing to learn because I want to change my life. Okay. So we want to invite you to become part of our national campaign for financial literacy. If you think this makes sense, everybody should learn about how to save their future. If you think everybody should learn our workshop, how to increase their cash flow, how to pay off their debts, how to plan for their retirement, come and join us to our campaign because we want you to be part of us. We need your help, right? You probably will learn from us and we want you to be part of us too so you can educate a lot of people out there, right? So we can go hand in hand in this campaign. Just like what happened, like in the in the 60s, so a lot of things changes in America because why? People go hand in hand together, and today because of that, like a lot of things change in America. Okay, so part of our campaign is saving your future. This banner right here, this flyer that we want to educate, we want to empower people with financial knowledge, and this workshop. Okay, as I told you, we have this workshop already, so I went through this workshop, and this is our platform. You can actually learn about insurance, about investment, about health, long-term care, Medicare supplement, about how to send your kids to college, right? We hold classes to provide knowledge, strategies, and solutions in all major areas of financial services, okay? So let me just go skip the platform. Some of the slides here. Now, who is our company, okay? Our company is World Financial Group, and we are right now in United States and Canada, okay? So, but our company, World Financial Group, is actually a Trans-America company. We're one of the best business platform and one of the fastest growing organizations in the financial industry. I am so proud of this, right? If I want to do something, I want to be part of something big. I want to be part of something big, and some companies backing me up, like a multi-billion-dollar company, because we are in a trillion-dollar industry, right? But we are backed by a multi-billion-dollar company, and we can actually build a multi-million-dollar business here, okay? Now, we have a proven track record. In 2016, we have over 4,700 of our teammates make $100,000 income and above. Now, why is that important? I know money is not everything. But don't you think if you can make 100,000 here, don't you think it can help you and your family? It's not about the money you made, but it's about what can you do with that money that you are making extra. Now take a look at this. This is what I'm impressed about this company, okay? Many of the people became financially independent, and many more make good part-time income, pay off their debts, and building a strong financial future. That's the most important thing for me, because I can double my income, but if I spend everything, it probably won't help me, okay? So that's why I'm really excited about this campaign that we're doing. Okay, so, and of course the bonus, as you can see earlier in the video, we travel the world. How many of you here wants to travel the world? And how many of you want somebody else to pay for your travel, not you paying for your own travel, right? And if you work hard, could you imagine if you work hard, you can be part of this too. My husband and I, the last 16 years, we traveled 25 countries altogether. But before this, before I joined this company, we traveled to the Philippines, that's it, in United States. We've never been to any other countries. But could you imagine how powerful this thing is? And now sometimes I wonder, why do people call, after people get married, they have a honeymoon? Why do they call that a honeymoon? Because maybe that's the only time this couple traveled together, right? And then after that, they just work, they got bombarded with a lot of, financial problems and stuff like that, and never get a chance to travel at all. My husband and I have been to Hawaii like 20 times. So I'm not bragging about that, but I'm just telling you about how wonderful our journey with World Financial Group is. This is life-changing, okay? So I totally believe that we got to travel when we can, while we can. Why do we have to wait at 65 or 70 to travel when we can do it now, okay? So, but of course, at the end of the day, life is all about choices, okay? So, we can show you a great opportunity. We can show you our campaign, but at the end of the day, it's up to you. It's your decision. What do you want? Where do you see yourself 5 years from now? But I think the best way to figure out where do you see yourself 5 years from now is what was your goal 5 years ago? Were you able to hit your goal, right? And if the answer is no, we probably need to revisit some things, and it's like, okay, what do I need to do to really accomplish my goal in the next 5 years? Now, how can we help you out? Number one, you listen to our to the book, to this Saving Your Future book, right? You listen to how to build a solid financial foundation. If you have any questions, if you have any maybe policies or investments or anything that you have right now and you have some questions, we can actually help you out, okay? No obligation. We can sit down with you and help you, okay? So if you have any question with your retirement accounts, we can help you with that. If you have questions with your life insurance, we can help you with that. How to send your kids to college, like minimizing out-of-pocket costs, we can help you with that as well, okay? Now, second, maybe we can help you save your future. Number one, you can be part of us. Learn how money works, make extra income. What if you can make extra $1,000, $2,000, $5,000 extra money on a part-time basis, right? And then get rid of your debt. As soon as you start making money, you can start getting rid of your debt and save money for your children's education and your retirement. And number two, what about, you can be part of us and really build your future, okay? Transition to an exciting career in the financial industry. Potentially build residual income and financial security with renewals, trail supervision, and override income. Let me tell you why I fell in love with this opportunity. 4 things, right? Number one, I can have unlimited financial education. I didn't know about insurance before. I didn't know about investment before. I didn't know about stock market before, right? I didn't know about mutual fund, 401k, all these things, tax advantage products. I learned so much because of this company. That's number one for me, right? Unlimited financial education. Number two, unlimited income potential. I work as an engineer already. I make 6-figure income, but I want to make more. It's not for me just to make more, but I want to do a lot of great things for my family. I want to help my parents retire, right? And that's what I did today. I want to help my kids to go to school without any student loan. And both of my children are graduating this May, supposed to be, but because of the virus, they have to cancel the graduation. They're still going to finish school, but no graduation, right? But that was my goal, for them to finish school without any student loan. And I accomplished my goal because of this company. Thanks to WFG, thanks to WSB, my kids are student loan free, right? They don't have any student loan and they're graduating already, right? So I want to help a lot of people, not just myself. I want, to have my own charity. I want to do so many things in life. It's not just for myself, but that's why I want to make more. Okay, but I can't do that in my job. In fact, I use the rule of 72. 72, they're giving me 1% raise. 72 divided by 1, it will be 72 years before I double my income. I said, you know what? I cannot wait for that. So this time, this company allowed me to have that unlimited income potential. Number 3, lifestyle. How would you like to wake up every day with no boss? You own your own time. You own your own business. You have the flexibility. Like today, we can still run our business as usual, even though we're staying home, right? How many of us would like to have a business like that? And then we can travel the world, right? One day you can just wake up in the morning and say, honey, where do you want to go today? Hey, let's go to Paris. Hey, let's look at the flights. You don't even look at the price. You just look at the flight, whatever is the most comfortable one. Could you imagine how many of us would like to live a life like that? I wanted to. But I'm willing to work hard, right? To get to get to whatever I want, okay? So, but number 4, which is the most important thing for me in the business, number 4, I can have a security and the legacy. What kind of security I'm talking about, right? Like today, businesses are closing down. We're still open. Do you think you would appreciate when everything is closed down and you continue to make money? Do you think that's good? Man, I appreciate World Financial Group and World System Builder more than ever today during the time of crisis, because even though we're home, we continue to get paid, right? That's security. If I get sick, I still continue to make money. If I retire, I still continue to make money, right? And then if I passed away, I can pass on my business to my husband, to my children, and that's what you call legacy, right? I'm not just building a business, I'm actually building a legacy for my entire family, and that's what I'm excited about. Okay, so those are the 4 things. Why WFG for me? And I'm so excited. I'm so fired up. And that's why I love sharing this information to every single one of you, right? But you know what? This is not just happening to me. It's actually happening to a lot of the team members that we have, a lot of the business associates that we have. Let me stop sharing my screen. It's not just me, okay? But I wanted to actually call two of our associates here that benefited from our campaign as well. Two of our campaigners, and you're gonna love hearing from these two people. The first one I want to call is Camille. Camille, she's in Fort Irwin, California right now, and she has a young baby, but she still can do her business, you know, like in the house. And she's one of our senior marketing directors. So I would like to turn on the floor to Camille. Camille, are you there?
Hi, Vivian. Can you hear me?
Yes, we can hear you. Okay, good.
All right. Well, good evening, everyone. You know, Vivian, every time I see this presentation, I've seen it so many times. And, you know, it's always a realization for me that when I became part of this campaign 6 years ago, it's really the biggest opportunity that was given to me, and it truly changed my life. And I want to share to you guys tonight a little bit of background about myself and how it really changed my life. So, my background, I was in the military, I was in the healthcare, and I was a karate instructor. But the reason why I became part of this company is I want to really say that growing up, I really grew up in a very comfortable life in the Philippines. We have businesses, my mom and my sister, they're doctors. But you know, when my dad passed away almost 11 years ago, we almost lost everything. And I never thought that from a very comfortable life, you know, Vivian, I lived for months, eating ramen noodles. And I was negative on my bank account, on my credit card. I have 8 credit card. They're all maxed out. And every time I think about that, I just become so emotional because I never thought I would go through that. But you know, when a friend of mine, she's actually a dentist by profession, when she shared to me the campaign, I never think twice, just because I know that I needed to understand how money works. And when I finally became part of the campaign, you know, just 3 months in the company, I was able to pay all my 8 credit cards. I was able to pay it off. And on top of that, not only that I was able to pay off my debts, I was able to save for myself, for my husband, and for my daughter. The things I know today, I know for sure that, you know, I have a 10-month-old daughter, and I know for sure that my daughter would never have to experience student loan. And one of the things that I love the most, my husband is in the military. He's retiring at 4 years old next year, so I'm very excited. But one thing I promised my husband, when he retires, he's not gonna have to work again because he needs to. If he's gonna go to work, it's because he wants to. But you know, because of everything that the company has done for me and for my whole family, you know, Vivian, what my husband said is he's not gonna apply on any job, and he's just gonna do WFG with me full time. Because why not, right? With everything that you explained, the company has provided us flexibility, the security, and on top of that, the lifestyle. You know, when my husband retired, we're gonna be with our daughter every single day, 24/7. And with the technology that we have, look at this, more than 3,000 attendees listening to us, and we're educating them. And you know, I thank God that 6 years ago when I saw this campaign, I was really open-minded, because through that, it actually really changed my life. And again, I really want to thank you for letting me share and for letting me share my story. Thank you.
All right. Thanks, Camille. And that's amazing, right? You know, so this is what I love about our campaign, because you see people's lives are transforming. You see them paying off their debts. You see their life is really changing. So another campaigner that I want to call is Lee Joy from Texas.
Hey, Vivian, can you hear me?
Yes, we can hear you good.
Well, good evening to all of our guests this evening. Man, this is such an incredible time. Every time I hear you, Vivian, you just brought me right back into the business again. You know, my story is a little different. 22 years ago, I had a chance to see some of this information and come into this firm as a client while I was still working in the healthcare industry. My background prior to coming in here, I was a director of radiology and cardiology over 3 hospitals here in Houston. My wife used to work as a nurse at one of the hospitals here, the local cancer center at MD Anderson. But what this opportunity gave me a chance to do is being a client 2 years, I understood how to shelter my money from taxes. Maybe for somebody at 24 years old today, that might not be an issue for you. Maybe it is. I highly urge you to learn and to come in here to see how you can shelter your money from taxes. But 2 years later, as they were doing an annual review on my account, I said, you know what, how do I do what you guys do? And I came into this wonderful firm this year will be almost 20 years coming up with this wonderful industry. I worked with this firm 13 years, quite a number of years, pulling in 6 figures part-time while I was making 6 figures full-time at my corporate job. And that is what this opportunity gave me and my family. And about 6 years ago, coming up in April, both me and my wife was able to retire from the healthcare industry and be full-time with this wonderful firm. And I think about a lot of times when there was a major crisis going on in this country, in the terms of health crisis, both me and my wife would be at 2 different hospitals when we had young kids being taken care of by their grandparents. But today, because of the opportunity that we have here in this wonderful firm, we're able to work virtually and still be able to take care of the kids and not be able to be the essential staff in the healthcare industry, but we are still the essential staff in the financial industry. It's such an honor for us to be with this wonderful platform. We love the educational platform that World System Builders brought into WFG. And me and my family couldn't be more grateful and more thankful for the time as this that has prepared for where we are today. Vivian, I appreciate you giving me the opportunity to share a story. I hope the guests that's listening to us tonight, they make a decision. Either you come on here as a client so you can be better financially, or come on board with us so you can make more money so you never have to be dependent on somebody else for your money. Or 3, come in here and do both. And that's what we offer you an opportunity to do with us. I appreciate this time.
All right. So thank you so much, Lee Joy. You know, I think that is the wonderful thing about this company. Okay. So imagine, you know, like listening to Lee Joy, part-time in our company made $100,000, right? At the same time, he's still making 6-figure income, you know, over $100,000 in his full-time job. I mean, what kind of part-time opportunity out there will be able to give you that kind of income? But over here, I'm not saying that, you know, of course you come here and you make that money, but could you imagine? I work hard as an engineer, right? But when you work hard and you get what you deserve, and you know, like you get what you worked hard for, and that's the fruit of your labor, and that is exciting, right? You know, so that's why, you know, like I'm really, really in love with this opportunity. This is my 16th year now in the company. And when I joined, just like many of you, my kids were young, 6 and 7 years old. It's not easy for us because we're juggling between our full-time job, my husband working as full-time too, I'm managing projects, he's a senior engineer, on call all the time. Plus we have to drop off the kids to the school and, you know, back and forth. And you probably can relate to me on, it's not easy to start something with you have so many things in your plate already. But because I had a big goal, you know, to save my sister's life, although she didn't make it, after 9 months, I quit my job because I fell in love with this business. I said, I see my future here. But you know what? Sometimes you're doing things and you're questioning yourself. But I think, you know, like when I turned 40 years old, like 5 years doing this business, and that's where I see that I was doing the right thing. You know, like when you turn, when you have your birthday, your kids give you a birthday card, right? And my kids always give me birthday card year after year. And that 40-year-old birthday card was very meaningful to me, okay? Could you imagine, you know, like your 12-year-old son writing in your birthday card something like this: Mom, happy birthday. You brought us wealth and success. And I will be forever grateful for everything that you've given to us. And thank you for not making us spoiled. I mean, I was bawling. I was crying the whole time I was reading that card. Right? Because I didn't realize the impact that we have done to our children. And then the following year, he said, Mom, you are the epitome of success and happiness. I don't even know what epitome means, right? I have to ask, I have to Google, you know, so, but it means the highest standard, the perfect example of success and happiness. And he said, I'm so lucky to have you as a mother and somebody who inspired my future. That was it. I knew I was doing the right thing for my children, right? They understand it. They see that I'm successful, but at the same time, I'm happy, okay? And that is really important. So now what we want to do is I actually want to show you, I'm pretty sure some of you probably have concerns, okay? Do I start the video? No. How do I show the Elmo now? Oh, it's showing? Is it showing there?
No, they have to.
Can you guys show the Elmo? Okay. Okay, there you go. Okay, so you can see my Elmo now, right? All right, so what we're gonna do right now is we have this survey, but of course everybody's online, so you don't have this survey on hand. But let me just show you this type of questions that we have here. if you can just, the person who invited you will actually go through this survey with you. So we would understand what you are looking for. We would understand what your concerns are, and we can help you answer any of the concerns that you have, any of the challenges that you have. If some of you are interested in making more money on a part-time basis, we are here to help you, and we will be so glad to have you part of our campaign, because not only you're educating your own family, but this time you're going to make a difference in a lot of people's lives out there, not just your own family. But just ask yourself, do you have friends, family, co-workers, neighbors that's going through and struggling financially today? Maybe they don't understand their 401k, they're not properly protected, maybe they lost their job during the crisis, or they cut down their hours, they cannot pay their bills, they don't have emergency money. I mean, we can be on this together and help your people, help your clients, help your friends and your family, okay? So that's it for me, and I hope that, with that 1 hour that we got together here, that you were able to learn, like a little bit, to start thinking about your life, to start thinking about what can you do right now. We still have time, right? The best time to plan for the future is not yesterday, it's not tomorrow, but it's actually today, okay? So let me turn this on again to our host today, Alicia. Thank you so much.
Hello. Well, thank you so much, Vivian. Let's all give her a big, big hand, as well as to our two guests and testimonials, LeJoy Thomas and Camille Spalding. I just wanted to invite everybody that we're going to repeat this presentation today, next Wednesday as well at the same time. And also concurrently happening at the same time is our financial education workshops as well. So what you heard today is more of our introduction. Next week, we'll have our workshop on proper protection and building a financial foundation. And so we always have these two workshops happening at the same time. We also have them in Canada as well. So it'd be best now for you to reach out to the person that invited you to get more information. And we very much look forward to working with you. So thank you all again. And this concludes our webinar and financial education night tonight. Thank you all so much.
Thank you. We'll see you next Wednesday. Thanks.